Humans were the onlys who dared to help the aliens. Welcome to our channel. Today, we dive into an extraordinary tale of compassion and courage, where the boundaries of species are blurred by the remarkable kindness of humans. This is the story of a young boy who risked everything to save an alien creature in distress, forging an unbreakable bond that would change both their destinies forever. Join us as we explore how a simple act of kindness can transcend worlds. This is Humans Were the Only Ones Who Dared to Help the Aliens. A human's kindness. I lay in the forest path, leg ensnared, in a metal trap. It had been days since the rusty metal jaws had closed around my leg. I was weak from hunger and thirst, ready to die as I watched the carrion birds in the sky circle overhead. Then, something crashed through the brush, and I lifted my head, at least hoping to see the being that would claim my life. In the moments before they appeared, I reflected on this life, hatching alone in a cold crater, fending off the big gray four-legged beasts that nipped at my undeveloped hide, fighting to survive in these foreign forests. Yet alas, a mighty beast like myself laid low by toothed iron hidden beneath the leaves. The being burst from a bush, a small pack adorning its back, strange clothing of a blue material covering its pale hide. The human boy froze upon seeing me. After all, I was much larger than it, the size of what humans called a Kodak grizzly. But the boy didn't shy away. Instead, it approached curiously, softly cooing. I snapped at it as it got close, baring sharp teeth designed to tear flesh and chew bone. The human fell back in surprise, staring at me with wide eyes. Then, instead of running away, the boy stood back up and took of their pack, rummaging through it until it pulled something out. A small metal box emblazoned with bright colors. It opened this box and pulled out a flat, white and square object. With an elegant toss, the object landed in front of me, the tantalizing scent of meat coming from it. Without taking my eyes off the human, I nudged the white square off the top of the object, grabbing the thinly sliced meat with my teeth and snapping it up, my thirst rearing its ugly head as I swallowed. As if knowing my struggle, the human boy emptied the metal box of some small packages, grabbing a clear bottle and pouring the contents into the container. Setting the box on the ground, the human slid it over the ground with a long stick until it rested by the white squares. I could smell it, water, pure and clean in only the way I could dream of. Thirst clouding my judgment, I sank my snout into the container and began to drink the sweet cold water offered to me. As I was lapping the last drops of moisture from the metal, bending it in the process, I felt the pressure and pain on my leg lessen, making me snap my head up to look. The human had their back turned, feet placed firmly on either side of the trap, as they pried the jaws of it open with their slim fingers until I could pull my leg free. When I did so, the human let go of the trap's jaws and fell back, scurrying towards their pack. Fear watered its eyes as I stood over it. Slowly, I lowered my horned head, placing it against the boy's chest, able to feel their terror and dread as if it were my own. I had not a clue why this young human had chosen to free me, knowing I could kill it as easy as breathing. But I felt no urge to harm this being as I pushed my own thoughts and gratitude into its own as though I was speaking. My teeth, my wings, my blood, my flesh, and my hide are indebted to you, small child. Fear no harm that may come your way. The child's heartbeat relaxed, and a soft palm was placed between my horns. The human spoke, giving me a name, a beautifully human concept for something outside of their own species. I'll call you Snappy. We'll be best friends forever. I felt the joy radiating off the human as it collected its things and walked off, me tailing at their heels. The human showed me its dwelling, a small wooden building with a gravel road leading up to it. The boy gave me a meat called bologna from a circular package before showing me a medium-sized empty metal shack in the tree line, saying, "You can stay here. Mom would be mad if she found out about you." I did not ponder this statement as I found the shack dark and the entrance well obscured. It was comfortable and much preferable to the dank caves I'd lived in until then. Years passed by. The boy grew into an exceptional young man, whose mother, still unknowing of my presence, grew weaker and weaker with each passing year. I watched as the boy who I'd seen grow cried into my flanks, Wrapped in my wings as humans in white garb, removed the woman from the cottage on a wheeled stretcher. My own heart aching with the power of the humans' sorrow as they cried out. I wish I could help her. She's fought so hard, but it's only gotten worse. It just keeps spreading. She's going to die, Snappy. And I can't stop it. I let the human cry themselves to sleep against my hide, letting them drift away as I lifted myself to my claws. Standing above the human, I bent my neck down and nipped at my ankle, drawing fresh golden blood from the wound. Gently smearing my glistering blood against the boy's lips, I said in my mind what I wished he could hear. My blood to heal and rejuvenate as you slaked my thirst that fateful day. As the glister faded from the human's lips, I rested. Over the next week, the boy's emotions told all, even without his words. They said it just went away, like a miracle. The tests keep reporting the cancer is dying impossibly fast. She should be able to come home within the month. I felt joy of my own, as the human matured and aged with his mother, often enjoying a meal on the back patio. As he grew into a man, our bond strengthened such that we could share thoughts and emotions across great distances. I grew into my wings, able to fly and perch in the sturdier trees as my form became more lithe and long. A night came when up the gravel road a vehicle with no headlights approached my human's dwelling. Big men smelling of alcohol and bad intentions quietly excited the sleek vehicle. They didn't suspect or notice me watching from the tree line as they grabbed human weapons and approached the door. They didn't make it halfway before I lifted off the ground with a roar to alarm and wake my human as I landed between the house and the men, making the four of them scramble back and fall, my talons digging into one of the men's shoulders as I heard the door unlock and swing open. I turned and gazed at my human and their mother, a horrified expression on the woman's face as my human ran out saying, "Who the fuck are these guys? Why are they here?" Stress bleeding from the words, I conveyed my thoughts to him. They approached weapons drawn, reeking of malicious intent. My claws are at your command. My human looked at the terrified men, a uniquely human sentiment clawing its way to the surface. Mercy. "Let them go," he stated clearly to me before addressing the other four humans. "I know not why you decided to come here, whether it be to rob us or kill us. But take this as a turning point. Become better men. Don't waste your one shot." I let go of the man, claws retracting from the warm flesh, as I sat back on my haunches by my human, my considerable bulk between his mother and the men as they picked up their injured compatriot and loaded him into the vehicle, driving quietly away. I heard my human's mother speak in a shaky, terrified way. "Tim, what the hell is that thing?" We looked over in perfect unison. I felt a strange emotion from my human, Tim as I now knew his name. He felt saddened he hadn't told his mother. Softly he said, "Mom, this is Snappy. You know that night way back in grade school when I came home all muddy and my lunchbox was broken? Well, I only told you half the truth. I did get pushed into a ditch by some older boys, but the reason my lunchbox was broken and I was missing all of my food was because I gave it to Snappy here, freeing him from an old bear trap. He's been living in Dad's old shed since." The woman's emotions changed from frightened concern to a matronly anger. "And you never told me. Timothy Derek Kremster, if you weren't an adult already, I would tan your hide, for not telling me you had literally befriended a fucking dragon." Even I shrunk back a little at the small woman's anger, but she took a deep breath and calmed herself, saying, "You've got a heart of gold, Tim. It just scares me sometimes how you use it." The next dozen years passed in a blur. Tim's mother aged and at the ripe age of 100, passed peacefully in her sleep, leaving the house and property to a 60-year-old Tim, who had his own family now. His little girl loved sitting on my back and riding me like in her favorite movies when she was but Tim's age when he saved me. I found myself sleeping in a hand-built shed with proper bedding and heat. During the winter months, Tim, his wife, and adult daughter would share their Christmases with me, giving me gifts of fresh venison and shiny trinkets that now adorned those plain shelves in my new home. Never did they ask for anything in return except my company. Then the day came that the sun was blotted out by a massive ship, entry pods burning into the lower atmosphere. Somehow I knew it was my own kind returning for this world's judgment. They landed in every major city, huge areas devoted to troops and gear for conquest. I felt my time beginning to draw near as a massive elder Draken landed in the yard where I knew he would. I felt Tim's confusion as he hobbled from the house on his cane, awestruck by the elder's size and bright coloring. But the elder's attention ever strayed from me as, in my skull, he asked, "Draxiel, tell me, do you believe this planet worthy of a place at the high table?" Shamefully, I considered that the humans weren't ready. Their wars, violence, and disregard for each other seemed unworthy. Then, like a ray of light. In the darkness, I could only see the good Tim had done. His mercy, his selflessness, his ability to turn the other cheek, but most importantly, his kindness. This human had never done anything to hurt anyone, even against those that may have wished him harm. Bowing deeply in respect, I answered, "On my blood, on my flesh, on my hide, and on my soul, I say to you, humanity deserves a seat at the high table far more than we do, Ancient One." The elder considered my words carefully, speaking only when he deigned to. "Would you give your life to seal this promise, young Draken?" I felt a part of me revolt at the words, my limbs wobbling beneath me. I heard Tim's cane fall to the ground with a clatter, and suddenly the old man was shaking between me and the elder. The elder's head reared back, ready to strike, but Tim's words stopped those deadly teeth in their tracks. "If you're gonna make him kill himself so we can live, go fuck yourself. If you're gonna make anyone die for this, make it me, seal it with my blood." The raw emotion in Tim's voice shook me to my core. He was sobbing, but not from sadness, from anger. The elder gazed at Tim with ancient eyes, no words or emotions in that scaled face, until to my surprise the elder bowed to Tim, speaking in a tone like falling boulders. "Human, you have earned my respect. Your selflessness cools the fire in this ancient heart. Rejoice, for no blood shall be shed on your kind's behalf." Tim fell to his knees. He couldn't stand for very long without his cane, and I could only imagine how hard stress of the situation made it. The elder lifted a leg, biting a wound in its own sacred flesh to draw a golden drop of blood that he pressed against Tim's lips. "Drink and be restored permanently to your youth, human. You have shown the best of your species this day." But Tim did not drink of the elder's sacred blood, instead stating, "I wish to die in bed alongside my wife. I couldn't bear to see her, and all that I love fade away as I remain the same. Snappy will take my place. He'll know what to do." The elder lowered his leg, the wound closing almost instantly. "Very well, human. May your soul rest peacefully amongst the stars when you pass." Holding my head high, unable to force away the deep sorrow of knowing my greatest friend would pass on before I would see him again. But as we said our last goodbye, he whispered in my ear, "My blood, my flesh, my hands, and my hide, all are yours as yours were mine. May we meet again beyond death's veil, good friend." Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of friendship and bravery. We hope this story inspires you to see the potential for goodness in everyone, regardless of where they come from. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales and epic adventures. Remember, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change the course of history. Until next time, stay kind and stay curious.